is Good Morning Jacksonville.
Right now on Good Morning Jacksonville, a local mother has a warning to all parents after her son was violated in a Walmart restroom. Plus, a veteran's body has been exhumed after decades of resting in a cemetery that hasn't been cared for. The challenges his family had to go through to get him to his rightful resting place. And hey, it's back to school today for Clay County. The new changes students and parents can expect for this year. Good morning to you. Welcome back to class there in Clay County. I'm Katie Jeffries. Thank you for waking up with us.
And I'm meteorologist Mike Prangley. And it's good to wake up. And Katie, we've done many back to school years. And this year, the hottest one I can remember.
I've heard him mumbling and grumbling all morning about how hot it is today.
I tried to sing to you in the morning, not groan, but I was going, oh gosh, the new maps came in overnight. You know, I was hoping we'd get a break the next couple days.
Not so much.
I was wrong. I was wrong.
Oh,
I know.
You admit it.
I do. I do. Well, the high pressure dome was supposed to move west a little faster, but it's just stuck in place. So yesterday, one thing that told us that high pressure dome is going to take its time scooting out was we didn't have as much rain as I thought as well. We did have those scattered storms after 2 o'clock, but notice, more of a miss on the rain. Today, similar pattern with that high pressure is just like entrenched. It's stuck. It doesn't want to move. So a quiet morning going to school. Here's the dome. This is my nemesis, or your nemesis if you don't like the real hot weather. The storm zone, I've already called my family up in Maryland, D.C., Cincinnati. Boy, they had a rude awakening in the middle of the night. This is where the storms will remain across the mid-Atlantic. Late week, we will start to see an increase in those storms. Late week, and finally some relief from the heat. But we've got a couple more hot days to go. Heat advisory in effect from noon to 6 o'clock. There's our high. It's like a broken record, isn't it? 94 degrees, 108. Ugh. On the heat index. All right, I'll stop groaning because we got to get the kids ready for school this morning. Fleming Island Elementary to Charles Bennett. Lucky to see a cooling shower. It's going to be mainly about the sunshine, the heat, with highs in the middle 90s.
So your time right now is 4:31. Let's hit the fast lane, get you caught up on some of today's top headlines. City of Jacksonville is listed 3 times in the latest issue of Time magazine as one of the cities in the country that has experienced a mass shooting. Now, this comes as Jacksonville hits the 100 mark for homicide investigations in 2019. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is asking the state Supreme Court to rule on whether convicted felons must pay all fines and fees before getting their voting rights restored. It comes after Florida voters did vote to restore felon voting rights. An update for you this morning. Students at Trinity Christian Academy may have to wait until Thursday to return to school. The school was struck by lightning there over the weekend. So break time is over for those of you in Clay County. Students, it is your turn to go back to school. And as you are getting ready this morning, our Lana Harris spoke with Superintendent Addison Davis about what new and exciting things you might see this year.
Back to school. It can be an exciting time getting to reunite with your friends.
I like your hair.
Or it can be lonely, especially if you don't know anyone.
We want to make sure that we have the focus on wellness, focus on connectedness.
Clay County Superintendent Addison Davis says that is where the buddy bench comes in.
If a student is at recess and their friends aren't there or they're feeling lonely, they can go to the buddy bench.
Davis says it's a new initiative for students to meet each other, fostering a happier learning environment.
We know that mental health is a huge part of our success.
And it's just one thing Davis says he's excited about for this year in Clay schools.
Additionally, we are expanding school choice in Clay County.
Parents can expect to find pre-ACE accelerated programs in the elementary schools and junior high, a new visual performing arts school, and a STEAM school.
A lot of opportunity for our children to find pathways where they can feel successful within the learning environment.
And Davis says for the first time since 2012, the district received a AA grade and has less than 20 teacher vacancies. It's also the first year they'll have resource officers at every school.
We have launched our new police department. We have 47 officers that stand ready to go and protect and serve for our children and just ready for another great school year.
That was Lana Harris reporting there. And we'll have more on Clay County going back all throughout the morning. So Senator Rick Scott was in Jacksonville. He was at the FSCJ campus where we asked him about gun control efforts in Washington. Now, while he was governor, Senator Scott lived through the mass shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, Pulse nightclub, and the Jacksonville Landing. He's hoping to use his experience to change laws.
If you're threatening harm to yourself or you're threatening harm to somebody else, you shouldn't have a gun, you shouldn't have any weapon. I believe in the Second Amendment, but I do believe, we all have family, we have kids and grandkids, and I want them to be safe.
Senator Scott says whether Senator Mitch McConnell brings the Senate back to handle gun reform, he feels confident that something will get done in Washington. Developing this morning, a Jacksonville mother says her son was violated while using a public restroom. She says a man recorded her 6-year-old from underneath the stall at a local Walmart. Now that mother is demanding justice, and Cameron Eppinger is on your side with those disturbing details.
Well, it's a disturbing story to say the least. The mother says she was shocked something like this could happen. She now has a word of warning for all parents. Latasha Latimer says a last-minute trip for back-to-school shopping turned into a nightmare.
Mom, Dad, somebody was recording him using the restroom just now.
The mother of 2 says on Saturday her 6-year-old went to use the bathroom at a local Walmart. Moments later, she says her older son caught a creep recording the young boy using a urinal.
He was after kids. He was able to see I'm assuming the size of the feet that approached the urinal to know when he could, put his phone into a recording mode.
Moments later, the boy's father went to confront the alleged peeping Tom. However, Latasha says the man didn't come out until Walmart employees responded.
My husband got to the restroom. The guy was still sitting in the stall. He wouldn't come out. He knew not to come out because my husband had already made him aware that we, had been made aware of what transpired. Who's to say where this information was sent? If it was uploaded to an app, if he sent it to somebody else, who knows what he did with that information before he deleted it.
She now has a warning for parents.
Make sure your kids are aware and paying attention to what's going on around in their surroundings. Make sure they're aware of their surroundings.
Terrifying. Cameron Eppinger reporting there. And also new this morning, Dole Fresh Vegetables is recalling cases of baby spinach due to a possible salmonella contamination. So the product includes a 6-ounce bag of Dole baby spinach and 10-ounce bags of Dole baby spinach clamshell. Now both have use-by dates of August 5th, 2019. If you have it, throw it out. Another alert for you, be sure you check your medical bills when you get them in the mail. More privately insured patients are getting hit with out-of-network bills despite going to in-network hospitals. A common example of out-of-network charge would be an ambulance transport, so make sure you're checking those bills. Your time right now is about 4:36. A local veteran's body has been exhumed and buried in Arlington National Cemetery. Ahead, the challenges his daughter faced to give her father a proper burial.
Good morning. Yes, all the salt life today. Temperatures upper 80s. That's the place to go for relief with that early sea breeze. We'll take a look at some early meteor showers coming your way.
You can't see it yet, but it is there. The heat.
It is, the heat. And this morning, okay, it's kind of a hazy moon if you saw it coming in. We've got a meteor shower called the Perseid meteor shower. So it's actually peaking the next couple of mornings. So something to look forward. And they're known for these particles of dust, basically, the Earth's going through, and some bigger particles of dust. So it really lights up the sky, what we call fireballs. So even though it's a little hazy, we may be able to see a couple this morning. So we'll keep looking at that beautiful skyline. No rain to worry about on the way to school and work this morning. Back to school for Clay County, and it does include a heat advisory. In fact, that rain, more of a miss today, like we saw yesterday. That heat dome is just gobbling up the weather maps, that's for sure. So what it's doing is all that sinking air, and that's just going to keep us hot, humid. Look at the heat index up to 108 degrees. All right, let's take a look. So we go to Futurecast, and here's what I was looking at this morning. I say, something's going on. Well, we've got a lot of sinking air in the atmosphere. 12:30, there's 1 o'clock, still hard to find a shower. 2 o'clock now, of course, we're watching the Clay County kids, and if we do pop thunderstorms, very isolated, and likely Highway 301 to the west, okay? And again, look at this, more of a miss for all the kids back in school in southeast Georgia, Nassau, Duval, St. John's. It's going to be tough to find a shower out there for school pickup. So it's more about keeping the kids cooler today. But by late week, we are going to see a big change, a reverse in the pattern that finally includes a break from the heat. All of us with highs only in the 80s and a good deal of thunderstorms. We'll see what that means for the Jaguars and the weekend coming up.
Now to a First Coast News exclusive. A St. Augustine man was killed in the Vietnam War and then buried at home. But over the years, that St. Augustine cemetery has become overrun and just unkept. So Jessica Clark is on your side with the story of one daughter's fight to get her father buried at Arlington National Cemetery.
This should be illegal.
The weeds are so high at Woodlawn Cemetery in St. Augustine.
This is horrendous.
LaMonda Williams needs snow boots to visit her father's grave.
Hi, Dad.
Lamar Longo Williams' headstone peeks out from the high grass. He was just 21 years old when he was killed in the Vietnam War in 1971. LaMonda was 11 months old.
My husband was drafted. For me, I didn't think that he would get harmed over there. It was devastating.
Lamar received the Purple Heart and the Bronze Star for defending his comrades, and still he could not get into a local military cemetery. So Woodlawn it was.
And Woodlawn was historically the black cemetery.
And it was back in a period where there was segregation.
Over the years, LaMonda has become more disgusted that the cemetery had been forgotten by the government and its absent caretakers.
It feels criminal.
A couple of years ago, LaMonda Williams tried to get her father into Arlington National Cemetery, but she learned about a rule which states military members have to have a certain document called a letter of good standing in order to be buried at Arlington National Cemetery.
My father was killed in action, KIA. There is no letter of good standing or discharge paper, so to speak.
So she appealed, and this year, Arlington accepted her request.
We are getting you out of here.
In July, LaMonda's father's body was exhumed from that St. Augustine cemetery amid tears of sorrow and joy. And then a surprise.
Oh, I hunted for him all the time online.
A woman named Holly Spahn in Pittsburgh saw the First Coast News story about Lamar online. Her father, Francis Spahn, had told her about Lamar Williams from his Vietnam days.
But he was a real good guy.
Francis Spahn and Lamar Williams were in the same infantry unit there.
He was easy to get along with.
Francis saw Lamar die in battle on a hill.
It was so hectic, and the enemy was firing at us.
Lamar was hit badly.
Lamar was trying to save the rest of his fellow, soldiers, and we knew that Lamar's injury was going to be fatal. You could tell he wasn't going to make it.
Francis has suffered from PTSD ever since.
It never leaves you. It's always with you.
Hearing the story about Lamar's planned move to Arlington,
as soon as I heard about it, I said, I have to go.
On August 7th, friends and family from all over the country went to Washington, D.C., to Arlington National Cemetery to witness the reburial of Lamar Williams.
I'm feeling all the love from friends and family.
As we're approaching, it was simply breathtaking, like, you're here, Dad. We've made it. We got you out of there, and you're here in Arlington.
So today we celebrate. We celebrate a hero.
No black, mournful clothing. They wore blue.
Blue was my father's favorite color.
For our comrade in arms, Private First Class Lamar Longo Williams, our nation bestows military honors.
We celebrate more like him, who are buried in cemeteries across this nation. We will never have this opportunity, but we remember them today. Let us all say.
Amen.
It's been a long journey.
A journey for a widow who never remarried, for a comrade whose memories need calming, for a soldier who deserved honor, and for a daughter to feel closer to her father she doesn't remember.
Through my father's journey to Arlington, I've had that opportunity to do so. So for me, it's closure.
Jessica Clark, First Coast News, on your side.
This morning on the third hour of Today, Consumer Confidential. Don't be fooled by discounts. What you need to know before signing up for some popular skin treatment.
Then when her son began losing his sight, she came up with a way to make his life easier. How one mother's creation is helping a lot of people.
And he's in not one but two hit shows right now. Brett Gelman stops by to tell us about Stranger Things and Fleabag this morning on the third hour of Today.
Let's take a look at your top 4 trending stories for this Tuesday morning. New iPhones are on the way. It's rumored that the next model will be called the iPhone 11, along with a new operating system. Apple has yet, though, to release a date for its September unveiling event. Nike is launching a new footwear subscription service. Nike Adventure Club allows parents to order shoes for their children ages 2 to 10 as often as they want. Now, Nike hints more services like this may be on the way. Chick-fil-A has added mac and cheese to its menus. They have heard our prayers. The company says it is a classic macaroni and cheese recipe baked fresh each day. I expect nothing less. It's the first permanent side since the 2016. Nice. So a Broadway musical about Princess Diana is expected to go to Broadway this spring. Diana will begin performances at New York City's Longacre Theater on March 2nd of next year. Let's take a look here at your traffic getting you out the door. So most of the schools in our area, they are back, of course, except for Trinity Christian, which is out probably until Thursday. But Clay County goes back. So this is a look here towards Blanding and Kingsley. Not really anybody out there at the moment. Very quiet, but that's going to pick up as we go throughout the morning, and I'll be here to help you out.
Now, weather with your First Coast News storm experts, powered by AC Designs.
Good morning. Woo! There's our weather in a picture today. The hot sun. Katie said it's going to be like the face of the sun. Well, it's going to feel like the face of the sun. And we're talking about another hot one, a heat advisory in effect from noon till 6 o'clock. So we're going to get our shine on, like the Florida Georgia line says, but we need to find our cool spots, drink plenty of water. And for the student athletes after school, yes, we take breaks. When you get these wet bulb temperatures as high as they're going to be, anything over 30 minutes of a vigorous exercise really takes a negative toll on the body, so keep that in mind. You work out 30, you take at least 30 minutes of break in the shade. Here's why. We're not seeing those cooling thunderstorms. We're not seeing that cool rush of air from those gust fronts from storms. We're keeping those rain chances at 20% today with a high of 94. In the tropics, okay, good news is it's quiet, a lot of Saharan dust. Bad news is we've got a lot of warm water near the east coast of the United States and a front that's going to stall out. So as we look at Jacksonville, Charleston, we're seeing late week the pattern's going to change because that front is going to move closer to us. Look at the deep green and boy, that ugly yellow color here. So that means we are going to see a good deal of thunderstorms to finish the week. But we've got to watch these fronts this time of year, okay? So they can spin up some trouble on our doorsteps, so to speak. All right, so how much trouble? Well, let's take a look at late weekend into early next week. You can see some of the models have been hinting about something trying to form near the Carolinas along the front, and then if it does, spinning out to sea. Still very early, but again, just goes to show you we check it day to day, especially with stalled fronts here in the southeast. So for now, so far so good. No development for at least the next 5 days. 7-day forecast, here it is. Can you hang in there? 2 more days. It's 2 more days than I thought on this heat dome. Okay, so nature being very stubborn. Tomorrow, I think with more of a southwest flow, at least a better chance of a few more cooling storms in the afternoon, 96. But for back to school Clay County today, it's going to be more about the heat. And then late week, there's those thunderstorms. And look at the temperatures. Finally, back into the upper 80s. But we're going to keep a good deal of scattered storms Thursday through at least the first part of the weekend. Katie?
Thank you, Mike. All right, today House Representatives will hold an event calling on Senate leaders to take action on the Bipartisan Background Checks Act. That's topping your national headlines this Tuesday morning. The bill would require people buying guns to get background checks. The House passed the bill in February. However, the Senate has not established if they will pass the legislation. The Senate is scheduled to be back in session after Labor Day. Scientists in Denmark say they are one step closer to the first ever chlamydia vaccine. Phase 1 clinical trials show the vaccine is safe and effectively triggers an immune response. But it is too early to know if that translates into actual protection from the sexually transmitted infection. The Federal Aviation Administration has sworn in a new administrator. Stephen Dickinson is the 18th administrator of the FAA. Now, Dickinson says that Boeing 737 MAX will be grounded until it is safe to fly again. He says passenger services will resume once a thorough investigation is done on the technology and training for each plane. Basketball fans, get ready to mark your calendars because the NBA schedule has been released. And opening night is October 22nd. While the schedule was being released yesterday, 40 of the top rookies had a photo shoot for their trading cards. The league's Christmas Day lineup includes 5 games. Happening in Hollywood, America's Got Talent goes live starting tonight for the rest of the season. That also means viewers get the chance to start weighing in on which acts are going to move forward. NBC's Mark Barger talks to one of the show's judges for a preview.
I'm Cody.
Hi, Cody.
I'm Cody Lee.
It's the America's Got Talent audition.
I've been so many places.
That's been seen online and on social media more than 400 million times.
I didn't know what he was going to do, and then boom, when he hit that piano and he started singing, he blew the roof off the place, and my jaw just hit the floor.
Both blind and autistic, the singer-musician will be back on the AGT stage tonight for the first time since his Golden Buzzer performance in the season opener.
The energy, the excitement, the thrill, the fear, everything, just goes into these live shows.
Ansley Burns is also among tonight's 12 acts.
Okay.
The 12-year-old wild card has already weathered 2 separate redos at Simon Cowell's behest.
The safety net is gone, so if something happens, it happens.
That makes the danger acts even more dangerous. But even the routine can be fraught with peril.
Do or do not. There is no try. Somebody can just go totally blank. A comedian could walk out there and say, good evening, and then boom. And I've had that happen to me on stage.
America's Vote will move 5 acts through, and an instant save on Wednesday will rescue another. America does the heavy lifting as far as the votes, but it does still come down to you judges for that final act each week.
Yeah, I don't like that part. But I like that America gets to choose.
And keep million-dollar dreams alive a little while longer. Mark Barker, NBC News.
How exciting. So last call at St. Augustine bars could soon be monitored closely if the City Commission passes a new bill. What the city's new proposal could mean for you and your party time, as well as the bar employees. Welcome back. Well, last call in St. Johns County is 2 in the morning, and that's getting on the nerves of some neighbors in historic St. Augustine. So the city manager wants to update the city's alcohol policy, which would require extended hour permits and additional training for employees.
Permits will hold businesses accountable to make sure that they properly train their staff. Overall, people want to maintain our historic character and not be known as a city that is, mostly an alcohol city.
So the City Commission could move forward to make it into a workshop that would maybe happen later this month, but nothing would officially pass until September. Your time is 4:58. Let's hit the quick fast lane. Tonight, the Jacksonville Downtown Library will be hosting a forum on support and acceptance for LGBTQ youth. This comes a month after the Storybrooke Pride Prom was canceled. That forum starts at 5:30 p.m. Finally, going back to school today are those students in Clay County, but in Duval County, students at Trinity Christian, you guys are going to have to wait until at least Thursday to go back. The school was hit by lightning on Sunday. So the Jags are in day 2 of practice for their Thursday preseason game against the Eagles. That's at TIAA Bank Field at 7 p.m. No word on if quarterback Nick Foles is expected to play, but we do know that starting tackle Cam Robinson is back with the team. All right, stay right there because GMJ at 5 o'clock is going to start here in just a moment.